Hi, class. We are going to look at the Write About reading from this week. We're going to go over just one word today to help you kind of wrap your mind around what we're looking at. So, this is the word study from Storm Warriors that we read last week and Forgotten Heroes from this week. Forgotten Heroes is a much shorter text, so we'll be diving a little deeper into aspects of that text. What we're doing is for each of the vocabulary words, it's actually the same vocabulary words as last week. So we're getting more exposure and more practice. So we're going to first read each word as it is used in both texts. That's what number 1 says. We're going to compare their meanings. So we know in 4th grade, a lot of times they'll give you words with more than one meaning, like there's a bear, or there's too many burdens to bear that are heavy. Trying to bear the weight of your backpack or your worries, bare skin. So words that can have more than one meaning. So in that first column, we'll be determining, are they the same? Does one word add more meaning to the other word? And does each word have a different unrelated meaning, like bear and bare skin? So we'll locate keywords or phrases that help determine how to classify the same word, and we'll tell why. So here, elite has been done for us. In the first text, which is Storm Warriors, it meant fearless. In text 2, it was skill and bravery. And then the why that they put is there are many ways people show being fearless without skills. But if someone has skills and is brave, then that must mean they have special skills with the bravery that make them elite. So that's a really cool one. So we're going to move on to the word realization. And I had to skim and scan through the text to find it. Found the word realization on page 283 and in 270. So let's start with 270 because that was our first text, Storm Warriors. I watched with a sick feeling in my stomach as the realization crept over me. I would never be able to do what these men were doing. The words of their motto ran through my head. You have to go out, but you don't have to come back. So this realization was a thought that came to them, and realization is the act of realizing. So it's the moment when something becomes true to you and you know it to be true and you realize it as that. So that's what it means in text 1, which is Storm Warriors. And we're going to try and put that in words. Text 1. It does mean the act of realizing. So shun is our suffix at the end of the word, and shun means an action, that it's happening. So the act of realizing, that's when something comes to mind as true. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 283 for the next one. The word realization will be right here for this one, okay? So we'll kind of read a little bit before that and a little bit after that. Oh, cool, you can add a note. Burckhardt learned that Etheridge and his surfmen were an elite group. They were known for their skill and bravery. They were also the only African American group whose job was to save lives. Then she came to a realization. Their bravery had never been officially recognized. I immediately felt I had to do something about it, she says. Okay, so this realization is still a thought that came to her. So here she is realizing a thought as well, that their bravery had never been officially recognized. And her realization is bringing her even to an actual action. She is going to do something about it. So for text 2, that's also going to be the act of realizing when it comes to your mind as being true, as being a fact. You are suddenly aware that this is true and that it is a fact. So they do have the same meaning in both text 1 and text 2. I am thinking, just a side thought that I'm going to work through, is there a little bit more of a meaning in text 2 than text 1? In text 2, she said she felt she had to do something about it. So her realization was bringing her to a further action, not just the action of realizing. So I do feel like there was a little bit more added to hers because she's realizing she is going to do something. Whereas, let's look and see if he is also realizing not just a thought, but let's see if he was also realizing that he was going to do something. I watched with a sick feeling in my stomach as the realization crept over me. I would never be able to do what these men were doing. Oh, so his was kind of like he was realizing he wasn't going to be able to do something, and she was realizing she needed to do something. So there is the technical definition. They are both realizing, they are coming to a fact and becoming aware, but the situations in which they are realizing is very different. I would never be able to do what these men were doing. The words of their motto ran through my head. You have to go out, but you don't have to come back. In that moment, I knew with not a shred of doubt that I did not have the courage to risk my life that way. Yeah, so his is kind of the opposite. He's realizing something he can't do. She is realizing something that she must do. So that's cool. So I added that note in there that even though the actual word realization meant the same thing, the act of realizing coming to one's mind as true, I put that it had the same meaning. But then I put in, it is worthy to note that she is realizing something that she must do, and he is realizing something he cannot do. So that was text 2 versus text 1. So as we look at the why for this one, we will look at, we got to go back to page 270. I watched with a sick feeling in my stomach as the realization crept over me. I would never be able to do what these men were doing. The words of their motto ran through my head. You have to go out, but you don't have to come back. In that moment, I knew with not a shred of doubt. So there goes into the fact part. So this first text has a lot of words and phrases that lets you know what realization means, but it's a little bit down in the passage. Remember, when we're determining a word meaning, we read all around the word. Sometimes it's not in the sentence before and the sentence after. Sometimes it's in the context before or after or way after. So connecting those thoughts. And here, there are some words after, and quite a bit after. The words of their motto ran through my head. So if something's going through your head, you are thinking it. So that is one of the spots where it would let you know that that means realization. Then in that moment, I knew with not a shred of doubt. So there comes in knowing. So you're aware, and then without a shred of doubt, you have no doubts. That means it is now a fact. So that is our context clues for this particular text. So if I can go back and try and remember those. The words of their motto ran through my head. And then I'm just going to put a comma, and I'm just going to, and I guess I'll put that in quotation marks. And then, and in that moment, I knew without any doubt are the phrases that help me know this word means something coming to the mind as true. Now, we're going to look at text 2. Text 2 does not have the details that text 1 has. There's only just a little bit there, and you really have to dig deep to infer that. Burckhardt learned that Etheridge and his surfmen were an elite group. They were known for their skill and bravery. They were also the only African-American group whose job was to save lives. Then she came to the realization. So after knowing that, their bravery had never been officially recognized. So the clue within this is this is a new thought. Their bravery had never been officially recognized. So it's something new coming to her, and then she immediately felt that she had to do something about it. So if you are having that immediate feeling, then it probably just became fully aware to you as a fact. I mean, those are really our only clues there within that one. Even if we read on, there's nothing there. The 8th grader wrote to Senator Jesse Helms and President Bill Clinton. She asked why the crew had not been given a medal. So it just goes on to tell her actions based on her realization. But the fact that it's a new thought that she's had, that they hadn't been recognized, and then immediately feeling that she had to do something, those are how I know that it means that. In the second text, she has a new thought. And we know it's a new thought because they haven't been recognized before. So even if someone's thought on it, they haven't acted on it. So it's new for her especially to have them be recognized. And then in the second text, she has a new thought to have them be recognized. And it came in her feelings. And we have to say feelings because she felt like she had to do something immediately. Them to be recognized, and her feelings came to her immediately. And that immediate feeling leads me to infer that that would be something factual that would come, because facts can come immediately and feel more urgent in you. Leads me to knowing that this word means something coming to the mind as true. And you can use your own words for this. You can choose how you want to word this. I challenge you to do a better job than I did in wording it, and I'll let you know what I think about your written responses. I'll be sure to give you feedback on that. I can already see that I have some editing that I need to do over here, so I will correct that. And I hope that you are having a great day, and I will see you guys later.